Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Two Nerds, One Quest, a D&D adventure started by two nerds working to complete one quest, that of getting one of those nerds to play D&D. I think that works. I am your host, JC. I'm also the DM, joined by what is now three nerds, which is fantastic. I suppose I'm four, so it's four nerds and two cups. We just multiply, right?
I
have
no
idea
what's going on right now.
The first man to speak there was Ryan Krixis Kukta, our resident Dragonborn cleric. And then we have the man, the myth, the legend that kicked it all off, Tom Aaronon Norman.
It makes me laugh because every time you get introduced, Kukta, you just wave. Like, hey guys, it's an audio podcast too, and it's just like, hey, yeah. Like, hi, I'm here.
I mean, what do you want me to say? I acknowledge my presence in existence.
Hi.
Yes, that's
you can
actually
say that all with one word. Hi.
Yeah. You just like,
Down
yo,
yo,
yeah, yo, yay, hey, yo.
All right,
Word to your mom.
you get it. You got it.
It just makes me laugh. It's funny because I'm used to doing stuff like this, and John's used to doing stuff like this. And it's just like,
they have a different entrance point, though.
Excited
They're entering with the stream and video.
yeah, exactly.
We didn't enter that, so we know that audio is also cue because we stick this out as a podcast. And then, of course, the newest member and one we have yet to know the most about, Jeff Doc Williams, the Lazy Dragon himself.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Podcast.
Textbook.
There you go. See, Ryan, that's how it's done.
Clearly.
I'm a professional.
I'm just thrilled I see myself on the little video box there.
Just like a little kid, like, "Hi, Mom, I'm on TV."
Oh, that's always the fun thing. Especially my kids are like, "Are you done like playing?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like yesterday, I was running my international game. They're like, "Are you done playing?" I'm like, "Yeah." Come over and they're waving at people. So, anyone like to give us a recap from last week?
Sure. I like to take notes apparently. So, party woke up and ate breakfast, some bacon, then headed to the docks where Aaronon hears some horns in his head. Take a rowboat with Doc and Flip out to the Busty Mermaid to meet the rest of that crew. Hammocks down below for whoever wants to take a rest, and Flip likes to talk. We killed some rats, went through a Kraken's graveyard and got Kraken slapped. Let's see. There was a nasty storm. Pretty much everyone got sick, and then there was some character discussion about Doc's future and the plan for his bag. Luskan ho.
That sounds like the future for Doc's bag. Luskan ho. You gotta find that place though first, or no, I suppose you can find just about anything in Luskan for the right amount of gold.
I mean, it took me about 3 seconds to catch up to your joke, John.
So they call out Port Ho, and actually the elf in the lookout calls that out, and you look out and you see Luskan in the distance, this massive walled port city that has two spires at the port on both sides of the river that extend twice as high as the ceiling. There are a couple of small islands in that port mouth as you approach. There's a lot of motion on the ship right now. People are prepping sails, pulling in the appropriate ones, trying to swing the ship out into the appropriate channel to be able to enter smoothly. Flags are run up, several different ones. And it's kind of funny. The very top one is the very top flag that actually gets run up. Krixis, you recognize this symbol, having been in Neverwinter. Aranon, you may recognize it, but I don't think you ever paid it any attention. Doc, you know what it is. It's a. I should actually have a picture of it. It's the symbol of the Arcane Brotherhood. That, Doc, you know, they're actually one of the rulers. The ships in Luskan, that's the symbol that is on the. Oh, goodness.
Oh, that's cool.
So the ships run the city as far as security, trade, piracy, fishing. All that stuff is done by the ships. When it comes to the political climate and the laws, those are set up by two different systems. One being the Arcane Brotherhood, which everyone kind of goes, yeah, they're the ones really running it, but you never see what they're doing. It's like the Illuminati, kind of, but they're out there. They have saved the city before from a dragon. They are known to the general public. You'll actually see them walking down the streets, which wasn't always the case. For the Arcane Brotherhood, they stayed in hiding for a good long time. And they're not looked on as unfavorably as they used to be. The other major governing body is the magistrates, who are elected, or not elected, but chosen by the ship leaders. The whole thing is held together by threads, basically. You can cut threads and retie threads, and for the right amount of gold, like I said before, you could get just about anything in Luskan. If you want to make someone disappear, you might even be able to get that to happen. But for the most part, it is poses itself as a lawful society. But if you look real closely and kind of peel back the layers, you see it's corrupt as hell. At this point, as you're kind of all up on deck, Miriam comes walking up to you, the first mate. So are you going to be staying in port long?
No, I don't believe so. I believe we are making our way north, but we have yet to decide our true path north.
Further north than Luskan. What presses you that direction?
We're just going on vacation. Nothing.
Vacation.
Yeah. Figured I'd go someplace I haven't seen before and, travel through the world.
I don't buy your bullshit for a second, sir. But if you're going further north, I don't really want to ask what you're getting into.
That's probably a wise idea.
All right.
We
Well,
do
when
have
we
business in the north.
Fair enough. And when we port, we do have contact with a ship. Should you need anything, let us know. We do have inns within the city. Keep your allegiances covered, I would say. It's up to you whether or not you would like to cover your holy relics. And she looks at Krixis and Ellie and says, but I would advise to do so. It can lead to issues. There is nothing preventing someone from walking up and stabbing you because they don't like your religion. That's Luskan. So typically it isn't one. Most things around here happen with a mob mentality. So Just watch your step. Keep your nose clean, and you should be all right.
Good to know. Thanks for the advice.
When Doc hears that, he adjusts his cloak on the left side to make sure he's covering his armor.
At this point, the ship is like pulling into the port and docking, and there are several ropes being thrown out to the dock to tie the boat off. And there's a bustle of stuff as people start moving crates around on deck and everything. And Flip comes up to you guys and says, "Here, come here. You're just gonna be in the way over here. Come here. Come on, follow me." And he goes and walks over by where the plank would be put down. No, seriously, I get yelled at all the time for standing over there. Come here.
I'll follow him.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Follow.
Yeah, Denon gets mad if you get in the way while we're unpacking. It's what takes the most time, and it's the most unpleasant thing of this whole thing, he says. So it's, yeah. So it was fun having you guys on the ship with us. That was different. It's always nice having company below deck.
Where are you headed next?
Where are we headed next? Wherever the next load takes us. I don't know. That's Denon and Miriam's worry what we take on next. They'll go into town and find something. I will probably hang out here and try not to get in trouble. He looks kind of sheepish at this moment. I have been told I have a propensity to get into bad situations. So the ship is the best place for me.
I don't believe that for 1 second.
Well, I appreciate that, sir.
And we appreciate your help, Flip.
Well, you're very welcome. Doc, it was wonderful meeting you. You take care of these people, okay? They may need it here. And I know you've been here before. So,
I'll do my best.
okay. All right. Well, here comes the plank. Whoop, step back. And this plank just kind of falls right in front of you. And he grabs 2 ropes instantly and starts wrapping them around 2 pillars right by the exit walkway. So you're there. You're at port. What would you like to do?
I'm going to stretch and just kind of take a look around and see what I can see, because I'm unfamiliar with this town, so I want to see if anybody is maybe paying more attention to us than they should.
Make a perception check.
Come on, big money.
Big money, no whammies.
Oh, of course. Natural 1, 6.
Yeah, you don't notice anyone looking at you.
Head out of the way.
So this is the way today's gonna go.
Couldn't you tell from pre-stream?
Yeah, exactly right.
Fair enough.
Sorry, I'm just opening up a window
Smurfs?
here. No.
Yeah, Krixis is gonna hustle onto the dock.
Okay.
Once we're out of earshot of Flip,
Yep.
Doc's gonna come up and say, I may have embellished my story with Flip a little bit. I actually have not yet been this far north.
Oh, so you're in the
I've
same
not
boat
been
as
to
us.
Luskan. Yeah, and you can see he's a little anxious. I haven't spent a lot of time in towns like this, so I'm glad to have your company.
Aranon is actually going to just kind of take a few steps away to disassociate himself from the rest of the group, just to see. I'm just going to kind of adapt to the town and see what I can see. I'm just going to because I don't want to be associated with people who appear nervous. And I just want to
Okay.
keep an eye on everything that's around without having people interrupt me and talk to me and try to distract me.
Okay. I gotta get dice out. Sorry. I'm just sitting here realizing
Krixis
I'm
will-
missing my dice.
So prepared.
Krixis will just say, keep your eyes and your wits about you. Simple eye contact to the wrong person could develop into something we don't need here. We're trying to improve our situation before we head north, not get into petty squabbles.
Do we see a lot of weapons out in the open, like people carrying weapons things?
Oh, yeah.
Or
Yeah, there are swords slung at hips. There are swords on backs, axes. A few people have they're rare, but they have these strange wands by their hips. Seem to
Look
have
like
curved
branches.
handles to 'em.
Doc will take them all out of the bag and sling it over his shoulder, trying to look casual with it.
I'm gonna pull the hood of my cloak up.
All right. Aaron, make another perception check.
— 14.
14. There's a figure in an alleyway nearby that catches your attention slightly and asks you, through a series of hand gestures and motions, what they can help you find.
I'm going to. So did he do the? Did he throw me the shocker first, or is it just someone that?
It's just someone speaking thieves' cant.
Okay. I'm going to throw back passage north. Just to see what he says, to see if he's. Yeah.
A question comes back and asks, "Are you affiliated with a ship?"
Not yet. We are not. I'm gonna throw back. We are not from this. No, I don't want to say that. I'm just gonna say not yet.
All right. He or they, it's hard to tell whether it's a man or a woman at this point. Motions mid bridge, midnight, if you still need help.
Side note.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sign
Side
language
note.
guy.
Thanks, Efton TV, for rating us. Rate of 4. Thanks, guys. Appreciate stopping by.
Hell yeah. Nice. The so that's the last message you get. Krixis, make a perception check as well as your new friend takes out this warhammer out of his bag.
Hoo, baby. So I'm gonna say, that's a mighty big weapon for a little man. I hope you're ready to use it. 23.
23. As you're talking to him and you're talking about this, you notice there's actually someone that was watching him specifically take this impossibly large hammer out of the small bag and seem to have some sort of interest in that.
I'm gonna look in the opposite direction, but whisper audibly, "It appears your weapon has garnered some attention already."
That's what she said.
Indeed.
Finding a porthole for the bag. All right, what would you like to do? Ellie's just coming down the ramp. She was up the ramp. She was saying goodbye to Flip, actually giving him a hug, and he was doing this, and she's too kind to tell him to piss off and leave. So
Ellie.
she's listening to
Ellie's
him for a
gonna
while.
need. Ellie's gonna need so much help in this town of thieves and angry men.
She comes.
She could do so much good, though.
She comes down the ramp, and she you notice she's adjusting her cloak to kind of cover her holy symbol, and getting her shield actually underneath her cloak, because that's where her largest holy symbol is on the face of her shield. So,
My brain went to a weird place, like that pirate bar in the Disney movie Tangled, where Ellie's like dancing in a pub, and all these pirates. All right, let's move on.
So are we turning Ellie out? Or is that what's going on here?
are you letting her go wild in the town? Will she go wild in the town? Is the question.
No.
I don't know. She fell asleep outside her door. She couldn't figure out how to get the key in the door. She was so drunk last time she drank. So you don't know.
Someone's gonna have to keep an eye on her. So
It sounds like somebody needs to hold their liquor better.
So I'll gesture to Ellie to, come join us to stay close. Just
All right. Yeah. What's going on, Krixis?
well, you do need to be aware this town is full of thieves, and although there must be some sort of system of ordinance that keeps that in check. Small acts of violence are probably seen as incidental, so we need to keep our wits about us and stay close.
That's fair, she says. And as you're kind of talking to her, hang on a second. Let me look at her inventory for a second.
So am I still talking to this guy off to the side, or is that pretty much done?
No, that was done after he made mention of the meeting at midnight. If you still need help, they disappeared into the alleyway there. Oh, she doesn't have one. So you actually see her. She just reaches under her cloak and she unlatches basically her mace, so it'd be free to grab and pull. So she's ready to fight at any point in time. And she kind of says, "And I understand you. I heard what Miriam said. I know this place is lawful in its own opinion, but that's about the best I can expect here.
Indeed.
The fact that I'm covering my holy symbols is to let you know where my head is at."
Indeed. Yeah, we won't be spreading the word here, so.
That won't be. It'll just be more subtle. That's all.
She's going to be the loose end that gets everybody in trouble.
I'm gonna rejoin the group and interrupt everything that they're doing and just tell them what I did with the guy. Oh wait, that sounds terrible. I'm gonna tell them that I just communicated with some dude or some person in an alleyway, and tell them all of our stuff.
I
Quite
thought we were
adept at hand gestures.
we're getting the dog sleds, right? She looks genuinely worried.
Well, I suppose I could have asked him for that. We'll have to probably go to a shop.
Oh no, we just got to find the Acquisitions Incorporated building,
No,
right? Didn't they say they had a post here?
probably. That
They
would have helped if I would have paid attention to that, but
they likely do. However,
Here.
gaining access to the ships is not possibly as easy as it seems.
Well, from what I understand, the ships, not everyone here belongs to a ship. Like, actually getting in a ship is difficult from what I've heard.
Indeed.
So I don't know if
So
we actually want to get in a ship, do we?
if we want to get into a ship, we need to be affiliated with somebody. So we kind of need to find out who is in town here, and we kind of need to probably at least pretend to affiliate with somebody. I'm not pledging allegiance to anybody, but we need to figure if we're going to take a ship north, we're going to have to figure that out.
Well,
There's
let's stay close and move into the town then.
Am I the one that knows the most about this place?
Perhaps.
She's looking at you guys. You guys are talking like about these ships like they're actual ships. You know they're gangs, right? A ship is a gang here.
Well, that makes a lot of sense now.
Huh.
I
Okay.
learn something new every day, and I appreciate you for it. I'm going to roll
They
my eyes.
have
Take
the ship.
action.
The ships or gangs have many ships. And
Indeed.
there are 5 major ships, gangs. It's like the gangs in Waterdeep. It's
It's like
Okay.
the gangs in New York.
I will be careful, but the 3 of you be careful as well. Okay? So, where are we headed?
Well, probably first and foremost, we should find Acquisitions Incorporated and get another sled. You know what? Hold that thought, Doc. Excuse us for a second. I'm gonna pull Ellie and Krixis off to the side.
All
Ellie's
right.
Ellie stands in a position where she can see Doc because she doesn't want to leave him by himself. She is facing Doc.
All right. Doc understands they're going to talk, so he's not going to intentionally watch them.
So, did I just get duped into agreeing to have somebody join us?
I wouldn't be comfortable leaving him in such a place alone.
We did not have this conversation. Well, okay, we kind of had the conversation, and Ellie is very much for bringing him with, if I remember correctly. However,
Yeah.
I still don't trust him. We still don't know him, and we still don't know what he is about. I don't like it.
So we keep an eye on him too.
Jesus Christ, how many eyes do you think I have? I have 2 eyes. They do not separate. One does not point this way, and the other points this way. I have to keep both eyes on one thing. If I'm going to
I have
protect
2.
us, I don't trust your judgment in this. If I'm going to protect us in this city and keep us from getting shanked in the back like some prison bitch, then I need to focus on that. And I don't know if this guy that we don't know about is trustworthy or what. If I
I'll
get
tell you
stabbed in
what,
the
based
back, I am going to come back and haunt you.
I tell you what, we will protect you. You make sure he doesn't do anything to us, based on your history with goblins and all.
I'm going to give her the finger.
She smirks at you after she says it.
I will take responsibility for the dwarf.
Fine.
All right. You take responsibility for the dwarf. I'll help Aranon protect us.
My point is we need to be aware and we need to be on our toes. And having one more person that we don't know.
In a place like
Makes
this,
me
Aranon
nervous.
has one more weapon in our fight should things go sideways.
Assuming it's not used against us. Yeah, that's great.
Krixis is going to keep an eye on him.
I throw my hands up in
And
the air.
you know what would help?
You got us
A
a
little positivity.
Positivity can suck my nuts. I am being cautious. I didn't get
Trying
this
to
far in life by being...
accentuate the positive, I will start laughing.
What's that?
I said if you start singing accentuate the positive. We need a little positivity. And I was like, oh my god, here is the full on song in the middle.
Always look on the bright side of life. Doo-doo, doo-doo.
Okay.
It's not.
before we get to.
At this point, Doc is happy he's not joining the music circle.
Yeah, so I'm gonna throw my hands up in the air and
Fine.
just and walk away.
All right, Krixis is gonna gesture then to Doc.
All right, Doc will come over.
Doc, do you want to come with us? I'd like you to come with us.
I would like to be with people who are competent, capable, and seemingly friendly, mostly.
Well, I'm friendly. Krixis is competent and capable. He doesn't trust you yet.
Should I trust him?
Yeah, you can. Just don't cross him.
I am very trustworthy.
Watch your gold around him. But other than that, you're fine.
Aranon is dedicated to our cause.
And he's dedicated to his cause, but he's helpful. As long as you know he's after money, you can manipulate him.
Sounds good.
Not that I try and do that, but I have done that in the past. He's got a good
This is
heart,
good.
skills to see. He's got a really he's got like this wall up that he's really tough and doesn't care and cares about money only. But I think below it all he kind of does.
So he's got a heart of gold.
I'm gonna come back into the conversation, not knowing what they're talking about, and say, "All right, let's go. We've been sitting at the dock long enough. Let's get this shit show on the road."
Okay, which way are we going?
That way.
That way's nice.
Onward.
Also here, that way's nice.
Let's just start heading into town, and we'll ask somebody about acquisitions.
Okay.
Krixis will be looking for a weaponsmith.
A weaponsmith. As you are looking around, you are on the north side of the river, what is known as Mirabar, the Mirabar district. A lot of the trade, you're walking through market areas. There are a lot of trade booths open. As you're walking by and kind of looking around, keeping an eye out for someone to talk to, someone that may be approachable. And you see there's a large like warehouse style building with a red dragon's head symbol on the side, and it says Red Dragon Trading Company. It doesn't look like a business, but it looks like a warehouse, but it's marked. And you see that symbol in a couple other places in the city as you're cruising through the trade district.
Is there any possibility we see someone selling smith tools?
Smith's tools? Make an investigation check. And Krixis, you can make one as well to find a smithy, is what you were looking for?
Sure.
15.
I was going to say, if you want to assist him, you can, or you can make your own roll. You're looking for the same place generally.
I rolled anyway, so I'll take it, a 17.
17. Yeah, the two of you on your way. There's actually, and it looks less like a stand and more like a business, that it's a building that he kind of opens the front of, and you can see it's a smith. There's forged tools in there, and you hear the banging of a hammer on metal, and as you kind of peer in, you can see the sparks coming off of whatever he's working on currently. This dwarf in there is just hammering away at something.
Hello, good dwarf.
One moment. He quenches it and comes walking over. What can I do for you?
Oh, it's been a long time since I've been in a place like this. The smells and the heat, it's all brings back good memories. You wouldn't happen to, by chance, have a set of smith's tools for sale?
You're a smith?
Well, I've done some smithing.
Oh,
Smith
right then.
adjacent.
Dabbled in the craft.
Yeah, I think I could. It's not gonna be the best stuff, but I could round you up some.
Take what you got.
All right. So he kind of goes waltzing around. You can see him. He's walking through his shop basically, and looking at tools on his wall and kind of pulling off lesser ones and packing them up in a package and everything.
The regular
And-
price is 20 gold
Thank you for that.
in the
Shit.
handbook.
So he comes walking up to you with this bundle. He's got it wrapped, kind of tied off, like you know how you untie tools. Sometimes you get like files or something, and you unroll them in a piece of leather. And he's got them
Yep.
all kind of wrapped in a piece of leather like that and tied up. And he sets it on the counter. He says, that'll be 10 gold.
Okay, I will dig in the bag and dig out 10 gold.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. You, sir. Oh, you're a tall one.
Krixis is just kind of eyeing up the weapons that are available, but I'll say looking for some ranged weaponry, hand axes, something a man of my sturdy build could wield efficiently.
So like throwing axes, right?
Yes.
Yeah, one moment. And he comes back and he's looking around and he's like, Ooh. And he comes back to the counter and he looks and goes, I don't have anything immediately. I do. I don't want to sell it to you. I don't want to give you the problems that may arise with it. It's marked. They were ordered by one of the prominent member in one of the ships, and they have the ship's logo embossed on the heads of the axes. They're beautiful. He says they're beautiful, and he kind of pulls them up, and there's two of them. He lays them on this piece of leather on his counter. Spent a lot of time making those, and they never showed back up. To sell them to you, if you use those on the wrong person, and they saw the symbol, could be an issue.
Caught my attention. What would the price of such axes, if you were to sell them to me, what would we be looking?
For the pair, $150.
I'm gonna pull Krixis off to the side. I'm gonna be like, hold on 1 second. Hold that thought. I'm gonna pull Krixis off to the side and say, hold on to your money. I think we can get in here after he closes shop late at night, and I think we could just kind of probably just take them. That should be a good way for us to get passage north. If we can get these axes with the ship emblazoned on them, then we can use them as proof that we are a part of this group, and maybe that'll help us get access.
Do you feel that might be somewhat of a coincidence at this point?
Tom, if you don't have it, take inspiration, please.
Krixis will turn back. Krixis will turn back to the dwarf and say, 150 is a very steep price. What would make these axes so special as to demand such a price?
It's less about the price and more about the risk I am taking by selling them.
Indeed.
Welcome to Luskan, sir.
Well, thank you, sir. I think we are not looking to garner that attention, but I appreciate you showing us your wares.
Fair enough and understood. And he takes the axes up and kind of puts them back.
I'm gonna watch
Aaron,
to
on
see
make-
where he puts them.
I was gonna say make a perception check to see where he's putting them. I figured you would do that.
$19.
You see him place them in a crate, and he locks a lock, and he takes his hand out in front of the lock and just goes like this, and you see something shimmer when he does that, and then he takes the box and puts it underneath the counter.
Interesting. Are we all set? Do we want to... Anything else you guys need?
I'll ask the dwarf. Have you? Are you aware of an Acquisitions Incorporated locally?
Oh, AI, the AI, it's on the south shore, by the river, just across the Dallas span. Dallas span.
I was
Thank
gonna say
you,
they have a
sir.
Dallas. Like,
Dallas, DALATH, Dallas span. Just across Dallas span, left about a block. You'll find the AI.
all right, thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir.
All right, guys, let's head out over there. Let's see if we can grab some sled dogs while they're still open.
Indeed.
So you guys head across the bridge. As you guys are heading across the bridge and you're standing on the bridge, you actually see this massive tower. It's almost city center. It's got 4 large branches kind of coming up off of it. And Ellie looks at it and she just kind of nudges Krixis' elbow and says, That's the Tower of the Arcane Brotherhood. You imagine
We
one
should stay clear of that.
Just don't piss him off, I think. What do you think's in there?
An impressive number of magical artifacts.
And she's full on sightseeing, like, and just kind of, you notice she keeps bumping into you. Initially, you thought she was stumbling into you, but you realize that she's just trying to make sure she's walking straight, and she realized using you as a guide almost as she's looking at it.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, I'll brace her to make sure that she doesn't bounce off somebody else.
When you go to do that, she says, "Oh, thank you," and then she like actually takes your arm. So then she realizes you're cool with guiding her, and she's just kind of looking around at everything.
Having recently come through Waterdeep, Doc is less impressed about that and more concerned about the random ruffians that may be coming up.
Mm-hmm. And that's funny that you say that, because at the end of the bridge, as you're crossing the bridge, there is a gang of people, and they are chanting. And you don't pick up on what it is at first. But then you hear someone yell thief and hang 'em and menace, and all these people are just chanting these things, and they seem to be a small mob of maybe about 20 people, carrying, just, they got this person picked up, and it looks like against their will they're struggling and trying to get free of this mob, but they're carrying this person down the street in front of the bridge. So the bridge comes across this way, you're walking this way, and you see that this mob carrying this person down the road in front of you.
I'm gonna say note to self: don't get caught.
You guys keep walking. You watch the mob kind of go off in the distance to the east. further inland. As you turn left and head north, or head east. Sorry, I'm thinking of the map in my head and not doing well. You notice on the right-hand side of down the road a ways is a creepily beautiful icy temple. And Ellie just kind of looks at it and she's like, "What is that?" And it looks like a small castle almost, coated in ice. Think Elsa's palace that she makes when she runs away. All crystalline ice like that. But it's not clean cut like ice as it's chipped away. It looks like it was made to look like ice and has worn over time in places, but it is still gorgeous, but it looks a bit run down. You see a couple of people in dark blue robes walk into this temple as well. And the AI building is maybe 50 feet before this temple on the left.
Does this look familiar to anybody? This looks really weird. It almost looks out of place in the middle of this town.
It's beautiful.
It is. It looks like a temple of some sort or something.
Yeah, temples aren't my forte. I know dick about temples.
The gods would reject you, Ernan.
Would I like burst into flames if I just walked in?
This temple, probably not.
Uh-oh.
Flames wouldn't be the thing that would happen at this temple.
No, so since it's an ice temple, I'd probably freeze on the spot.
Let's walk into Acquisitions Incorporated and handle business before we do any more sightseeing.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
This is a small Acquisitions Incorporated building. It's almost like a hole in the wall. It's
like
got
a
single
Shopko
door.
Express.
Yeah. Literally, it is just like plastered between two buildings, kind of like you see those little tiny houses in major cities that are put in alleyways, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You walk in, the whole building is maybe 10 feet wide. Sitting behind the desk is the same gentleman that you dealt with in Neverwinter. He says, "Greetings. How you guys doing?"
Hi.
Hey,
What a wonderful sight.
you're here to turn in the vouchers that I gave you, correct?
Are you following us?
No. We run on a budget. So I spend some of my time in Neverwinter and some of my time in Luskan. So it's kind of a secret how that works. But I was there and now I'm here. So I know what you
Indeed.
want. I know what you need. Let me get the proper paperwork.
Yeah, can we snag one more of those from you? We somehow picked up a straggler along the way. We need another dog and sled.
Oh. One dog?
And one sled.
One sled. Okay. So sleds, 4 sleds, 7 dogs, and okay, yes. All right. Yeah, I'm it. And he goes in back and he figures out some paperwork and comes back in.
Or do we need 2 dogs for him?
It's gonna have to be a big dog. I was
Yeah,
just thinking
we're gonna
that.
need actually make that 2 or 3
Sir.
dogs for whatever you think this guy is gonna need. He's kind of a brute.
Well, you I hate doing this. How much do you weigh?
He's talking to Doc, I assume.
He's talking to all four of you, honestly.
How much do I weigh?
155 plus about a little over 100 pounds of gear, but some of that's in the bag.
So, yes, you should probably have 2 dogs, at least.
I've got a solid 450 with me and my stuff.
Whoa.
So,
I'm at 320.
how much do we? Ooh. So, 1, 3, 4, 7, 9. Ellie.
I had a feeling there'd be a 7 in there somewhere.
Yes, you are correct.
Oh. And he kind of looks at Ellie, and Ellie just kind of taps on the table a couple of times, and you guys can make perception checks if you like. But he goes, "Oh yes, absolutely." So you need 10 dogs, for you. Sir,
17.
you're gonna want to have 4. You're like it's approximately 100 pounds per dog. So ish.
So I'm gonna need 4 dogs, and I rolled a 17 on my perception check.
You picked up that Ellie said that what she has with her, and her weight in its entirety is about 200 pounds.
Live.
Still strong enough to wear a full set of armor and kick your ass too. So he goes, all right, and he fills in a couple of numbers and says, I just need someone to sign here for the extra dog sled. That you had vouchers for 3.
I'm gonna take the pen and I'll sign, but I'm gonna put Ellie's name in there instead of mine.
When you do that, she kind of kicks at your foot. And then do you look at her at that point when she kicks at your foot?
No.
All right, then she kind of turns around and walks closer to the door. He says, all right, so take these vouchers. You'll have to head across the upstream span and through the north gate, and outside there is a stable that has the dog sleds and the dogs, and you can turn this paperwork in there, and they will give you the dogs and dog sleds.
All right.
Okay. Have a good day.
Well, thank you very much.
Welcome.
It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you too.
I'm gonna walk out.
Okay. You walk outside. The mob has erected a makeshift noose on a overhanging lantern post, and this guy that they were carrying is currently hanging from it dead, and they're all kind of dancing around it cheering. As this sickly, and looking at the body now that you're closer, this man clearly appears to have been very poor, had no money, and was probably, if he was a thief, was doing it to try and survive.
I'm gonna ignore it. Pretend like I didn't see it.
Ellie is very quiet.
I'll offer my arm to Ellie again.
No, I'm here. We could have stopped that.
I'm gonna
There's
turn
nothing
around and
that-
look at her and say, stopping that would not have stopped that. That would have gotten us into trouble and us swinging next to him. we can't be messing with other people's business here.
There's nothing we could have done. Once a mob like that is incited, only blood and vengeance.
He doesn't look like he was a threat.
He
And
wasn't.
she's walking with you guys, but she's...
If you look at him closely, he needed whatever he took. He needed. It wasn't for fun. It wasn't like me taking shit. He needed it. So no, he didn't deserve to be hung. But when you steal shit, that's what happens. If you're not good, of course.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Where are we going? The sun is setting.
I was gonna say what time of day it is. So yeah,
And
probably find an inn.
at about the time the people that light the lanterns in the streets, they're coming around, and as you kind of walk by, that crowd is dispersing and everything, and the lantern lighter puts his ladder up against the lantern post, goes up there, and you hear, actually, as you're walking away, you hear the sickening thud as the rope is cut down and the body drops, and then he lights the lantern up there, and Ellie kind of looks back, and there's two people grabbing the body and dragging it over to the river and just throwing it in the river. As like, this is like a Tuesday afternoon for them.
Harsh.
That's weird because it's Wednesday.
Funny, it feels like a Sunday.
No.
Uh,
Does anyone know where there might be an inn?
I have never bothered to actually stay in Luskan, Ellie says.
If you're quiet enough, maybe we'll be able to hear the clink of glasses and the yelling.
If I can find the map. Ooh. All right, give me 2 seconds. I will be right back. You will find an inn. You're going to find the Cutlass Inn. You walk inside, take a seat at the table, and have some form of discussion. I'll be right back.
Sounds like somebody needs to take a giant poo.
All right. So
I
Doc,
could
Tell me
really
a
use
bit-
some food. My last meal is feeding fish right now.
that is fair. Doc, tell us a bit about yourself as we try to flag down a wait staff.
Okay, I suppose. So I grew up in Mithril Hall. That's a place where a lot of dwarves live. The ancestral home of a number of us. And my best friend growing up was a gnome. He and his family lived with us. We were kind of mischievous when he was younger, and eventually they basically said we can't both stay there because we're bad influences on each other. So he decided to go adventuring, and he would send letters of all the exciting things he was doing. So I decided a couple years ago to do that myself. So I've been on the road for almost a couple years, just doing primarily pest control, escort services, stuff that beginning adventurers might do.
Escort services.
Escort, like
Sorry.
you're escorting pests? Is that two separate things? Pest control, escort services.
Sometimes you have to escort a pest, but we don't like to talk about dignitaries and politicians that way when we're escorting them.
A gentleman never tells, am I right?
You almost just ruined John's computer.
Just joking. God. Oh. Sorry, sometimes you try to tell nature no, and no, nature goes, nope, you're going, you need to go now. So you take a seat, you're talking, you're getting to know each other a little bit better, it seems. getting to
Yeah,
know.
I just finished my last job, and I was helping load the ship in Neverwinter when they requested if there was anybody needing passage. So that's when I found you guys.
Well,
Indeed.
I think it goes without saying at this point that I was outvoted and we've adopted you into our group. I'm just gonna get it out. I'm just gonna get it out on the table. I don't trust you. I have my eye on you. Actually, I have both eyes on you. And
Yeah, they go opposite ways. You told me.
as long as you behave yourself, you are welcome to join us. But I'm watching.
Well, thanks, Slick. I'll really be glad to have some company.
Whatever. I need a beer.
Slick.
Ellie, at one point, as you're trying to flag down a waitress for a beer, Aranon, she looks at you and she just kind of elbows you and says, "I saw you sign my name, jackass. What are you doing there?"
I'm not being responsible for these.
You're gonna mistreat the dogs?
No, but
Oh.
I just
Good.
I just don't like things being
Good
under
work.
my name. That's I don't want. No.
Fair enough.
Well, I
can
have to
take
say, you guys must be well connected to get those dog sleds free of charge.
Yeah, well connected.
They Ellie and Krixis and Aranon kind of all look at each other.
Honestly,
Indeed.
I'm pretty sure we just stole them. I wasn't paying attention. He just gave us the slips.
No, Krixis knew the woman in the bar in Neverwinter.
Oh yeah.
She's the one that was connected. So, I mean, by that right, it's him that's connected, sir.
Okay, I guess.
Indeed.
She says to Krixis.
Well,
We
that's
are
good, because I don't know that I would have had enough to afford a dog sled on my own.
We are lucky enough to have some partners that we have met in our travels and have been willing to help us on the way, which is why we are extending this branch to you. We want your assistance, of course, but also we want to make sure you're safe as well.
My strengths are in combat. I'm not necessarily the most sneaky or the most intelligent, and I don't know a lot about magic, but you put me in front of something I can hit, and it'll be a good day for me.
Well, Aranon has the sneakiness covered, and we'll handle the magic.
Doc? Ellie looks at you. Do you have warm clothing?
No. What you see is what I have for clothing.
So this isn't a like the outfit isn't a disguise or something to take attention away from you. This is literally what you have.
Yes. Adventuring's been rough for me.
We need to get you a better cloak and some cold weather gear before we head further north.
Indeed.
This is a harsh environment we're going into, and if you're coming with us, I don't want you to suffer from the elements. You're gonna be no good to us if you're half frozen and a fight starts. And there's waving and and eventually a tray is like dropped in front of you with several ales and a couple of bowls of a stew. Which you look at it initially and you go, you're thinking beef stew, but then when it's like placed in front of you, you realize it's like a chowder, like a clam chowder or a fish stew type deal. Not quite what you were expecting.
Chowder.
All right, I'm gonna take a big drink of my beer or ale or whatever the hell it is and start eating.
How
Okay.
much for the round?
For all of this, it will be 2 gold.
And if we were also looking for lodging for the evening.
We do. Hang on 1 minute. I'll be back. Lodging, yes. 4?
Per person?
No. 4 people?
Yes.
I see 4 of you here. All 4 of you need lodging? Okay.
Or indeed.
Okay. Right. And she looks troubled as she goes running away. Ellie's continuing the conversation with Doc. Says, don't worry about it, Doc. We'll get you the stuff. You're gonna travel with us. You're gonna be treated as one of us. And she kind of looks at Aranon at that point, knowing that Aranon has most of her money.
I do not wish to be beholden to you, so
No. Gifts freely given.
please keep
I'm gonna shoot Ellie.
keep a tab and let me know what I owe you when I can earn my keep.
I'm gonna shoot Ellie a look when she says whatever she's just said about not owing.
Gifts freely given, and he says keep a tab. And she looks at Doc, hearing that. She looks at Aranon and sees the look he gave. And then she kind of smirks and says, "You hear that, Aranon? Keep a tab." And then grins at him. After seeing the scowl, understanding what it was for.
Not a goddamn bank.
I can carry some of my money.
Indeed.
That's fine.
I really love this dynamic between the two of them and who's carrying the money and how this goes. You continue dinner. Bar fight breaks out at one point. Make a dexterity check. Actually, roll a d4, Aranon, for me. Two. This bottle comes sailing right at Ellie. She is actually able to get out of the way, and it smashes on the wall behind her during this bar fight. It seems fairly isolated to the corner of the bar right now. Does it die down? Yeah, it dies down as quickly as it started. And there's shattered glass on the floor behind you now, though. And a wet wall. A wall just slicked with ale. This place keeps you on your toes, she says.
I'm just gonna shrug and go back to eating.
Keeping a low profile will keep us safe.
Make a perception check, Aranon.
Nat 1.
That good?
Take a big spoonful of your stew chowder, and you're kind of eating it, and there's something very hard and sharp inside that bite of stew, and you're they notice it first before you notice it, but blood starts coming out of the corner of his mouth, and you pull this piece of whatever it is. You realize it's a piece of the broken bottle.
Nice.
That ended up stew. Your mouth is bleeding. You cut the inside of your mouth, and you taste it now. Suddenly, there's this taste of iron, and it just you've bled from the mouth before. You realize instantly what it is, and yep. Ellie looks at you.
Those fuckers.
And do you need help with that?
No, it'll stop on its own. It's fine.
All right.
Sometimes it's all right to ask for help, friend.
Doc would be looking around the bar, just seeing if there's any good gossip he can pick up from reading lips.
Good gossip. Pick up from reading lips. You actually see someone, and it's just a mouth below a hood. You don't see a face. You just see the mouth moving, talking to someone at the corner of the bar. Something about the Arcane Brotherhood and heading north. In another place, you hear mention of Oral, the Frost Maiden, and her followers had taken another person into the Winter Palace. And then you see several rumors, something about other things about the Winter Palace, about people being taken there and then left in the back alley dead with their clothes like packed full of ice.
Would Doc make any reference to that maybe being the place we saw that looked like a ice castle?
Make an intelligence check. I know your intelligence
Nope.
isn't high. Nope. So you
Nope,
don't
4.
know what the Winter Palace is. Nope. You got no correlation there in your mind. There is also someone is complaining about ship Terrell superseding ship Rethnor. Sounds like something that just happened recently. You hear several other things. Someone's complaining about the fact that they can't use Harbor Cross because they're not a ship member. There are just a lot of different other things. You actually see someone talking about the mob that hung the thief earlier today. It's kind of what
So
you
just
around.
local chatter mostly then.
Yeah, nothing. The most kind of out of place thing that you saw was the mention of the Arcane Brotherhood moving north. That would be the thing where you go, well, that's not something I normally pick up on in these settings. Everything else seems very kind of mundane everyday life in a city like this.
Okay, file that away for later.
Okay. You spend the night at the inn. You guys still have the immovable rod? Do
Yep.
you use it at the door? I would assume so. Ellie would remind you guys.
Uh-huh.
Did
Were
you
we
have
able to get multiple rooms?
You were able to get one room. She came back and she's like, "We have one room for you guys. It's all that's available right now. I'm sorry, it has 2 beds. It is not. It's what we have. It's not our best room, but it's a place to stay that has a functioning door. So,
That's fine. It'll do for the night.
right, that will be 2 gold for the night then as well.
All right, Krixis will pay to avoid any conversation about whose money is being spent on this,
That conversation.
and then we've got several conversations as we get back to the room.
Okay. You want to have any of them?
All right. So
Yeah,
once we're in the
so-
room, I'm gonna have Ellie bar the door.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna say, okay, here's the deal. I only want to take one of you with me, and I'm thinking it's gonna be Krixis. But I'm going back for those hand axes.
Doc, how are you doing? Ellie kind of grabs Doc and just la la la.
All right,
I'm good, just tired,
Yep.
you know.
Stands
Lots
where
of time on a ship.
and
conversation she's having here. So she gives Aaron one look and then turns to Doc and starts the conversation with Doc.
All right, so I'm gonna go to Krixis and say, if you're willing to come with me, I would appreciate having someone who can fight and heal, just in case I don't plan on running into any trouble. We're gonna wait until it is very late, but also I'm not sure how heavy the box is. I'm not sure if you saw, but he did some weird magic-y thing with his hand over the lock. We may just end up having to carry the box out and breaking it open in an alley somewhere.
Indeed, I have no concern with that, and I will serve as lookout.
Yeah, that would also be useful.
I also wanted to remind you of the shadowy figure that you had mentioned as we first arrived.
Yeah. So apparently at midnight, I can go meet with him to discuss, and maybe we can stop there and discuss that with him before we head to the shop.
Is there advantage to that?
I would like to hear what he has to say.
Indeed.
I think we need to keep our options open just in case we, for some reason, can't get the axes, in case, the axes don't work to get us passage. We kind of need to keep our options open. So I think meeting with him would be our best option.
Indeed. Well, let us say our goodbyes then, and ask that the door is barred after we leave.
Mm-hmm.
So Ellie sees that you two are done talking, and she kind of says, "So, you have a special knock to get let back in that you wanna? I don't want to open the door for anyone."
I will, in order to make sure that we are as safe as possible, I will create a bird sound. You will hear a raven at the window.
Okay. Okay, I'll let you back in then. She looks at Aaron and sighs and says, "Be careful."
And I'd like to take
go
take a short rest, as I assume it's not quite midnight.
Sure.
Yep,
Yeah.
same here. And I would like Ellie to heal me up just because I'm sitting at 34 or 38. I'm
Me
feeling
too.
a little crickety, so I'd like some extra life.
You aren't not gonna take a short rest? You
No,
have
I
hit
am
dice left?
I'm
for
going
you?
to take a short rest, but last
Yeah.
time that didn't heal me up.
I think it would be
It
good
should-
for Ellie to.
You actually have to roll the dice and manually function your. So for every hit die you roll, you got to check off one of those boxes
Oh,
and then manually roll it. And
that's funny. I hadn't done that up to this point.
I did use some hit dice on the ship, but I'd prefer if Ellie was going to stay back in the room, if maybe she could use some magic and heal us.
oh, I suppose I could. Let's see. I will. How beat up are you? How much should I be dumping into this, or magic?
I could use about 9 hit points.
Oh, so just base level spells we're talking. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I need about 4.
Okay. So Krixis, you get 8, and Aaron, you get 12.
Cool.
She lets you out and closes the door and bars it as the two of you leave the inn. She turns and looks at Doc. They're gonna get in trouble.
Most likely.
Do you want to follow him?
Does he have a lot of stuff?
Will you come with me? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
I want to follow him. Will you come with
I'm-
me?
Kind of at your mercy, and I feel like you've probably got everyone's best interest at heart, so I can't say no.
All right, thank you. And we'll
Lead
stop
the way. Lead the way, princess.
Huh, I see how this is.
She cares about you, Aaron.
Yeah, I didn't want her going because she's a klutzy klutz.
She's gonna follow. She's gonna keep some distance.
She's gonna call attention to herself. I'm gonna. I don't like this at all.
Oh boy. All right. Well,
It's gonna be fun.
I
It's gonna be a
mean,
lot of fun.
it's exciting times. I really want those hand axes too. So even if we gotta burn down this dwarf shed, I'm getting it.
Yeah, I'm
This'll be
not taking
fun.
no for an answer, just so you know.
This will actually be really cool. I'm super stoked about this. We have a breaking and entering thieving episode coming up
Yeah, we do.
with a small
be
detour to
interesting
talk
to-
to someone prior.
Be a good test of Doc's allegiance too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Make sure he's in it to win it.
yeah.
Leaving Doc
exactly.
alone in a room with Ellie was a good test.
I was gonna say this is like you talk about wanting to trust someone and parties not gelling. It's something like this that will get you gelling. So yeah,
All right.
exciting stuff. Luskan is a cool city, and I'm very happy this went this way.
Yeah.
It's so funny because as I research all this stuff and read, I'm like, man, I could create a whole campaign just in this city. I'm like, yeah, we aren't.
Sounds like
We're gonna. I mean, there's been a couple of touchstones to the adventure that we're going to, but that's it. I mean, like, it's. I love this, and you guys are so great. Like, and all my
Sounds
notes
awesome.
were relatively relevant. You guys just took the ball and ran in the world, and it's like, cool, let's go.
Well, I've got some post-show comments, and we can chat about that in a minute.
Awesome.
Sounds good. So, with that being said, we are on Twitter. 2 Nerds 1 Quest. Number 2 Nerds number 1 Quest. Genius is Lazy Dragon GB. Krixis Kukta is Crazy Cooch. JC is Wildfire 1265, and I am Tom M. Norman. We are on Patreon if you want to give us some support. We're looking mainly for reviews wherever you get your podcast from. So do that. Do that at iTunes. Do that at, I don't even know where people get podcasts from other than where you can rate.
iTunes, Google Podcasts, Stitcher.
Yeah. Wherever you get your podcast from, give us a rating.
Yep.
Let us know what
Pocket
you think.
Casts.
This week, if you give us a rating, tell us how you feel about stealing from dwarfs for hand axes. Tell us if you would do it or not. That's what we're looking for in our review. But give us 5 stars if you like us. Give us 5 stars if you don't like us. Basically, give us 5 stars. If you want to give us some other support, go to patreon.com/2nerds1quest. We have some really cool rewards for everybody who joins and gives us even $1 a month. We got some support going your way as well. So, with that being said, for Genius, the Lazy Dragon, for Cooch, for JC, I am Norm. Deuces.
Get him.
Breaking and entering.